Dear students, you are most welcome to this virtual class of today. I am V.N.Mishra from Sadhguru Inter College, Semarawan, BARABANKI. And dear students, as you see on the board, I have written the name of the lesson which I am going to teach you today. The present lesson is from Hornbill book, and the chapter number 2 means lesson number 2. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. The lesson is going to be very inspiring and interesting, dear students, because it teaches us how to face the challenges of life and the adverse circumstances which occur in our way of life. Dear students, the lesson is written by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. Gordon Cook is a Canadian Olympic sailor, while Ellen East was a legal trainer. Dear students, the lesson will be in 3 parts, and today we will take the first part of this lesson as I have written over there on the board. Let me tell you, the students, the steps which I have to take for your better understanding. Now, dear students, have you ever taken any journey on a ship? The lesson is going to be very interesting because I will introduce you some words which are related to ship. More commonly, we say ship terminology. Besides, I will give the explanation of the text and explanation of the difficult words and phrases as I have written over there on the board. Then we will take questions and answers. But dear students, you will have to promise me that you will very carefully understand the lesson, and whenever I ask questions, you will answer sincerely. Dear students, let me tell you what will you learn after going through this lesson. Dear students, after going through this lesson, you will be able to explain ship terminology. You will be able to explain the text of this lesson. You will also be able to explain and use the terms and phrases in your own daily life. Besides, you will be able to answer the questions that are based on the text of this lesson. So students, now be ready and listen to me very carefully. Dear students, the narrator of this story, his wife Mary, his son Jonathan, and his daughter Suzanne started a sea voyage in July 1976 as he had dreamt of. Dear students, let us read how a mighty wave broken over them and damaged the ship, but they struggled on, and finally they were saved. Dear students, let me tell you, the members of this family who struggled on and on to face the challenges and finally saved themselves. Dear students, look at the board and remember these names. There are 4 names on the board. Narrator means the narrator of this story. Mary, narrator's wife. Jonathan, his son, means the son of the narrator, aged 6. Suzanne, his daughter, aged 7. You know, dear students, these 4 persons of the same family went on a long voyage, means on a sea journey, and they had to face a number of disasters, especially a strong sea wave hit their boat. Let us read the story and try to find out what difficulties they faced and how they overcome those difficulties. Now, dear students, I already told you about some ship terminology. Dear students, in this lesson, you will find these words again and again. Therefore, remember and learn these words very carefully. First word I have given you is stern, back portion of a ship, starboard side, right side of a ship, port side, left side of a ship, bow, the front part of a ship, keel, bottommost structural element of a ship, anchor. You must have heard this word before because in TVs you have seen anchors. But this is not TV anchor. This anchor is a heavy object tied to a cable to stop or slow a ship. Jib, another word, jib, triangular staysail in a ship. Hull, outer body of a ship. Mast, the perpendicular log in a ship used for sail. Actually, this is the longest pole tied to a ship. And the 10th and last word that I have given space in the ship terminology is deck. Deck is the platform covering ship's hull. Now, dear students, in your book there is a figure of a ship. It will be more clear to you if I explain these words with the help of this figure. I would like to show you this one. You can see, dear students, this longest through a pen point, I tell you, this perpendicular log is mast. You can see arrow markers are given here. This is sail. This portion is sail. This is beam. This is beam. Here you see this is stern. This is stern. You can easily see. Here there are cabins for the persons. This outer structure of the ship is hull. This hull. And this is keel. This portion that you projection you see here in the bottom is keel. And this one, I can hint you, this is used to control the ship while sailing. This is rudder. This one is rudder. Once more I repeat, this is mast, this sail, this beam, this stern, this hull, this keel, this rudder. Okay? Now, dear students, let us go through this lesson. Be prepared. Now, dear students, let me read the lesson for you and explain the difficult words. Dear students, pay attention. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan 6, daughter Suzanne 7, and I set sail from Plymouth, England to duplicate the round the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. As I have told you, dear students, that the narrator of this story, his wife Mary and his son Jonathan and his daughter named Suzanne, all these 4 persons went on a sea journey in 1976. From where did they start their journey? Plymouth, England. About 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. Captain James Cook was a great explorer. He had completed this journey about 200 years earlier. These persons, means the narrator and his family, took the journey. Now further, for the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman, the narrator here discovers himself that he is 37-year-old businessman had dreamt of sailing in wake of famous explorer, and for the past 16 years we had spent all our leisure time honing our seafaring skills. Dear students, the narrator wanted to repeat the journey, to repeat the record that was made by Captain James Cook in British waters. Means the narrator says that for 16 years he had practiced. What did he practice? He practiced how to sail in a sea so that he might face the challenges of sailing a ship. Dear students, let me introduce you some difficult words that have occurred in this paragraph. Students, I have written these words on the board for your better understanding. Leisure means free time. You can take down these words in your diary or notebook. Whilst a long sea journey, honing or seafaring skills, it is boldly printed in your book. Improving or sharpening the skills for a journey in the sea. Now, dear students, we should proceed towards the next para. Our boat, Wave Maker, a 23-meter, 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. Now listen, students. Our boat, Wave Maker, means the narrator had named Wave Maker the name of his boat. It was 23-meter long, 30-ton its weight, and it was made of wood. Hull, I have told you, the outer structure of a ship. Therefore, wooden hull means made of wooden structure. Had been professionally built means this boat was especially built for this profession, means for going into the sea on a journey. We had spent months fitting it out, means the narrator had spent months of time in fitting this boat and testing in the roughest weather. Rough, you know, +2 degree, as bad is +2 degree. Therefore, rough means bad, then roughest means worst, bad, worst, worst. We could find means when the weather was worst, the narrator tried to sail this boat in such a weather so that he could judge whether this boat would carry him to the destined place or not. The first leg of our planned 3-year, 1,05,000 kilometers journey passed pleasantly. The narrator says leg means part, means the first part of the journey. 3-year means they had to complete this journey in 3 years, and the first part, 1,05,000 kilometers, passed very easily without any difficulty, means they happily passed this journey. As we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. Dear students, before we proceed further, let me show you the map of the world and indicate these places so that you may better understand this portion. Therefore, students, let us go to the map of the world. Dear students, this is the map of the world. Let me ask you a question. Can you locate India? Means can you find out our own country India in this world map? Yes, very good. This is India. This yellow portion India. Can you tell me the continent in which our own country lies? Very good. Asia. And this upper portion you see, this is Europe, and here in Europe there lies England. This is the portion, here lies Plymouth. By the native speakers it is pronounced as Plymouth, not mouth. From this place, means from Plymouth, the narrator with his family started his journey. And this continent, very good, Africa. And here on the tip of this point there is Cape Town. Means the writer, means the narrator of this story started his journey from Plymouth up to Cape Town. Then he had to go to Australia. Between Africa and Australia there lies Indian Ocean. You can see here. Remember these places. I must tell you the direction of the map. This is east, this west, this north, this south. Once more I repeat. This is east, this direction east, this west, this north, this south. Therefore, Australia is in the east of Africa. Okay, remember these places. Now, let us resume the portion we were reading. Now we resume the same lines. The first leg of our planned 3-year, 5,000 kilometers journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. I have shown you Cape Town in the world map. I think you must have taken down. There before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen. Crewmen means helper to support the captain of the ship. These 2 persons were American Larry Wiesel and Swiss Herb Segler. Means the writer took 2 persons. I mean the narrator took 2 persons at Cape Town. First of them was an American named Larry Wiesel, and the second person was from Switzerland and his name was Herb Segler. To help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas. Tackle means to handle. World's roughest seas means one. I mean, the writer wants to say that the roughest sea is the southern Indian Ocean. Means one of the worst seas, roughest seas is Indian Ocean, through which he had to go to Australia. Now notice the meanings in this paragraph. Swiss refers to a native of Switzerland. Crewman means helping persons to a ship captain. And the third word I have written, tackle, means simply to handle. Tackle means to handle. Now we come up to the next paragraph. On our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales for the next few weeks. They blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of waves was alarming, up to 15 meters as high as our mainmast. Means the writer says that on the second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. Means the writer and his family began to face the difficulties, especially of strong gales, means of strong winds. Gales means winds. For the next few weeks they blew continuously, means the strong winds did not stop for the next few days. Gales did not worry me, means the narrator was not worried about gales, about strong winds, but the size of the waves was alarming. Means the waves were of very huge size. Therefore, they were dangerous. Up to 15 meters, the height of the waves was about 15 meters, as high as our mainmast. Means the height of these waves was almost as the height of his mainmast. What is mast I have shown you in the figure, and also I have told you the meaning of mast. Means the perpendicular long pole in a sea. December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. I have shown you east, west, north, south, all this direction in the map. December 25. Now the day came December 25. 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town, despite atrocious weather. Despite means in spite of atrocious bad weather, we had a wonderful holiday complete with the Christmas tree. Means they celebrated Christmas. New Year's Day saw an improvement in the weather. There was a little improvement in the weather on the New Year's Day, but we reasoned that it had to change soon. Means the writer, means the narrator of this story, estimated that there would be a change in the weather, and it did not change for the worse. Sorry, it did change. The weather changed, but not for good. It changed for bad. Means the weather became bad to worse. Now before we proceed further, let me ask you a question. The question is there on the board. Name the boat of the narrator. Means you have to tell the name of the boat of the narrator. Yes. Very good. You have thought of it. Wave Walker. And its length was 23 meter. Good. And its weight 30 ton. Very good. Now dear students, let us think some more questions which I will try to explain you so that you may answer them. Now there are two questions on the board and you have to answer them with the help of the words I have given in the answer. How long did the narrator plan his voyage? I have given you the answer. The narrator planned his voyage round the world as Captain James Cook had done 200 years ago. Means you have not to use these same words I have written. Means in your own words, with the help of these words, you have to write your own answer. Clear? How did the narrator, how did they celebrate Christmas? Means you have to tell how they celebrated Christmas. I have written the weather was very rough, yet they did not care for it. They celebrated Christmas very happily with Christmas tree. I have written the answer of these questions, yet you should not copy these words as they are, but you should write your own answers. Is that okay? Now let me give you one more question which you have to write the answer of that question by yourself without any help. Question containing only two words is there on the board. Describe wave walker. This question is for self-practice. You will have to write the answer of this question, telling the length, weight and some other features of this boat which was made by the narrator. Now, dear students, let me summarize the lesson. We read in this portion that the narrator of this story started his journey. He wanted to repeat the journey of Captain Cook, which had been done 200 years ago. Now he wanted to repeat this journey up to Australia he had to go. They started the journey in 1976 and now it was 25th of December. Thus up to yet I have explained you the text and I have given you sufficient meanings also. The rest portion of this lesson, dear students, we will study in second and the third portion. Besides, dear students, you can download an app called Diksha app. Through this app, you may also find some more study materials. Besides, you must watch Swayam Prabha channel. Now, dear students, I would like to leave you. Thanks for watching us.